Welcome to yet another episode of Wellness 360 at home, brought to you by ICICI Lombard. Well, हम लास्ट मिले थे आपको फ्राइडे को और आपके और हमारे बीच में 2 दिन का गैप था. आई एम श्योर उस 2 दिन में आपने बहुत कुछ प्रैक्टिस किया जो हमारे गेस्ट ने आपको बताया होगा. एंड आई एम श्योर आप और भी फिट और हैप्पी हो गए होंगे. अगर नहीं हुए हो तो फिर ये सप्ताह और है हमारे पास जहां हम आपके लिए लेकर आने वाले हैं और वेलनेस और खुशियां, जहां पर इट्स ऑल अबाउट बिकमिंग परफेक्ट एंड द बेस्ट version of who you are. Welcome again to the most interesting episodes ever, and here it is with something more charming. This is Wellness 360 at home, brought to you by ICICI Lombard. My name is Mithun Upadhyay, and today we are here with the most important factor of wellness. Is it nutrition? Is it laughter, yoga, meditation, workout, खाना पकाना? हाँ, ये तो है, पर इसके साथ साथ एक और बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट होता है. वो होता है साइबर सिक्योरिटी का. यानी कि आपके ट्रांजैक्शन जो होते हैं फोन के द्वारा या लैपटॉप के द्वारा, क्रेडिट कार्ड के द्वारा, डेबिट कार्ड के द्वारा, इसका अंडरवे और इसके बिहाइंड सीन्स में क्या होता है, इसको प्रेजेंट करने के लिए हमारे बीच में आने वाले हैं एक ऐसे गेस्ट जो जिसे सब कुछ पता है. So please welcome. Well, he is a well-known cybercrime investigator, a cybersecurity and data privacy consultant. He has been instrumental in investigating very high-profile cybercrime cases for the law enforcement agencies and corporates. He is the founder, director of V4 Web Cybersecurity. His key areas of interest include cybercrime investigations, protection of sensitive personal data, and dark web. His views on trending cybercrimes have been published by many media houses, and he has debated on national television channels such as NDTV, CNBC, Z News, Mirror Now, and many others to highlight the dangers in cyberspace that we all keep asking ourselves. He has also played the role of the real-life cybercrime investigator in MTV's award-winning reality show called as the MTV Troll Police. We're very delighted, very happy to welcome here at the Wellness 360 at home, the one and only Ritesh Bhatia with us right now. Hi Ritesh, good evening. Welcome to the Wellness 360. How are you doing this evening?
Very well, Mithun. Very happy to see that energy in you even at this hour.
It's the only thing that's keeping me go, and with the wellness coming along, I'm really happy that it's coming to us and it's helping us nurture our day. But today, let me tell you, it's a very interesting day for me and for those millions of people who always have this question about कि हाँ क्या हम transaction करें कि नहीं करें. और I think the wellness starts from being at comfortable side, mentally fit about what money is going where. So we're very delighted to have you, and let the session begin, and let's all learn today how safe are we when it comes to cybersecurity and more. So it's all to you, and let the session of Wellness 360 at home begin now.
Thank you, Mithun. So as Mithun rightly said, it's all about the wellness. So here we are with the digital wellness. So let's start with it. Of course, the first question that would be coming into your mind is Zoom okay? We are on Zoom, and many people like parents and teachers are on Zoom and all, and children are on Zoom. Zoom is perfectly fine. As I always say that if you want to change your clothes, you're not going to go into the balcony and change your clothes, right? And then you cannot complain that the world is watching. So given the security settings that are there in Zoom, if you enable those security settings, you're safe to go. So you don't have to worry about it. In fact, just today we came to know that even Microsoft Teams, which is again a very popular platform, there were vulnerabilities over there also. So as far as its technology, it can be hacked. But then don't take so much of tension. Zoom is safe to go. Second, we come to the Wi-Fi. Now, now we are working from home. All the routers are on. As far as Wi-Fi is concerned, we generally have our IT people coming up, some hardware fellow coming and putting up the Wi-Fi router. But please understand, we need to ask ourselves, did we change the default IP? Did we change the default username or password if it allows us to change the username also? So many of these Wi-Fi routers, they have a default IP, which I generally changed. They have a default username, which certain companies allow me to change, and the password definitely can be changed. So please change that. And I'm not talking about the the passwords of the SSID which you need when you start your device, and you select your name, like, okay, this is of the metas, and then you put your password. No, I'm talking about the password that is required to get into the router and to do those settings. So please ensure that you are taking care of those things. Now, with the lockdown happening and all, the frauds are inevitable, and one of those frauds, I would say, is the KYC fraud has been happening since quite a lot of long time, but of lately it has just increased. And here is what you get a message that, I'm from this particular digital app and your KYC has expired. And because of that, you won't be able to use your digital wallet. And they give a particular number. It looks also something like, okay, that the message has come from, let's say, for example, Paytm, KYC, they modify it a little bit. And, you are worried because most of your payments are happening digitally, whether it's, you're buying certain grocery or wherever you're going, people are scared right now to accept the cash. So you would want to do that. And so you don't want your Paytm to be blocked or your digital wallet to be blocked. So you call them up, and the moment you call them up, they are going to engross you into certain conversations, and which may lead you to revealing your PIN, or maybe you installing a software such as AnyDesk or TeamViewer onto your phone. And the moment you start entering all your details, such as of a debit card or the UPI PIN, they are able to see each and everything what you're doing. So please be very careful about this. Do not follow such messages. If at all there is an issue in your app, for example, KYC related, open your app. The app tells you what exactly you have to do step by step. Another fraud I would want to quickly touch upon is, let's say you're expecting a courier, and when you're expecting a courier, and you suddenly get a call that I'm calling from this particular courier company, and the parcel is there, but you need to make some payment, and you would want to argue why I need to make a payment. It's a prepaid thing. They would say no, we need to just confirm because it's lockdown, and they'll give you all sort of rubbish excuses. They will then kind of like send you a form. The form will look exactly like of a courier company. Of course, this Google form, any intelligent person will say, no, this is bullshit. But no, many people have, fallen prey to it. And there they ask certain questions, you answer them. Over there, you also give away your UPI PIN. The moment you give your UPI PIN, then they again call you back. And then they say, okay, you must have got a code. The code starts with the word activate, and then few like strings of characters and alphabets are there, and they ask you to forward. The moment you have done all that, you lose a lot of money. Yesterday itself, some poor fellow lost 20,000 rupees. So please be careful about any such frauds that are happening. Now, the government recently announced that there's going to be like, the income tax refunds are going to be expedited. And because of that, you might be also receiving a lot of mails. Now, the mails will be showing that these are from Income Tax Department or from the Ministry of Finance and where not. Please, there will be an attachment over there, and it would say, okay, this much money has been deposited, kindly check the attachment. Or this much money has also been deducted, kindly check the attachment. The moment because most of you are now working from home, I'm assuming you're definitely using your desktop or a laptop. The moment you click over there, a malware gets installed on your laptop or a desktop, and you're not even aware about it. So again, these could be spyware, these could be any sort of malware. So please, for all those people working from home, please ensure that you maintain the wellness even of your systems. Okay, so we're talking about the 360 wellness. So the wellness, the devices also come under this particular thing. And hence, now when we are anyway talking about the devices, please ensure that you don't share these devices with your family, like with your children or with your spouse or anybody. It's an office laptop, or if it's work related, please ensure that it's used for work only. And and that's the reason you please do not click on any phishing related emails, like the thing I told you about the income tax thing. A new one that is coming up is, or that is already doing rounds, is what we call as health emergency scam, or rather family emergency scams. Now, here what happens is you get a mail from a friend of yours saying that either he or his spouse, or I mean, someone from his family has been hospitalized and there is some reason where he's not able to call you and all that, but he needs funds because the person has got corona and the bills are mounting and he's in a different country, or maybe he's in the same country in a different state, and you would want to just transfer money. Yes, people have done that. I'm sure you would have a question that why didn't he call up or why didn't he WhatsApp? I would say if he's not done, then at least you can do that. Firstly, it's a scam because if anything like this happens, we at least in India, we call up people, we don't email. So please be very, very careful about this particular scam, which is again rising. We were also coming back to the devices. We spoke about the phishing email. Also, please ensure that you have a password on your desktop so that even if you have to move out of the room, please close the lid, please close the screen, and so that when you start it again there's a password over there. The reason being that somebody from the family or someone else is just not able to mess around. That now because you're also dealing with certain critical data. Now, since I've spoken about the word data, let's talk about the data backup. Now, when you're in an organization, when you're in your office, you have systems which automatically pick up, back up your data. But over here, the responsibility is ours. So we need to make sure that all this data which is there, we are securing it. Please don't try to email it to yourself, because just imagine what if your email gets hacked. So this is our company data. So we need to be very careful about it. Yes, you can save it in a different folder and back it up somewhere on the drive, but make sure you don't use your personal email ID. Just, your office must have given you certain systems wherein you can log in and put up all the data. Because we don't have much IT support also, something going wrong with the machine, maybe we'll be able to do without the machine, but without the data, it will become extremely difficult. So please make sure that you're backing up time and again. Another very, very important thing is your antivirus. We always say that the antivirus is there on the desktop, but has the antivirus been updated? Many of the times we feel, oh, it makes the machine slow, so we just switch it off. Please don't do that mistake, because that's your first line of defense. That's the only thing that's technically going to help you, technically going to protect you. So ensure that your antivirus is running and it is set. And whenever you switch on the machine, just go and check whether the antivirus has been updated or not. It should always show the latest date, or maximum a day before. Like if today is 27, it should show, okay, updated till the 26th of April. And also do a quick scan. It's, when you start the machine, it's nice if you can do a quick scan. And so this is as far as the digital wellness is concerned. As far as your laptop is concerned, of course, there's a lot more, but I also understand that you may be having many questions also. So hence I'm going a little fast and trying to keep it short. Lot of messages are coming, right? That we will give you Netflix free accounts and Geo recharges and all. They're nothing but malwares. Please don't try to click on them. And you don't know, even if it's your mobile device, you could be having malwares or certain kind of data scraping things running at the background. So here is something that you really need to take care of. When it comes to now saving the data on your devices also, be very, very careful, because most of the apps have access to everything. When I say everything, I mean by and large, what's very important for you? Your gallery, your SMSs, because that is where you receive the OTPs, your contacts. And many of times we save our ATM pins or UPI pins or anything else. We are saving it where we are saving it in the contacts, or we often also take photographs of our identities, and then we are saving it in the gallery. But please understand, many apps have access to this. Coming to the apps, please make sure that you have very limited apps. You really don't need so many apps as such. Only the apps which are really using, you need to have them. Now, for example, some of you might already be having apps of Jet Airways. Now, when Jet Airways is not flying only, why do you really need its app? So please uninstall. Maintain, your phone also needs a little digital hygiene, digital wellness. So please ensure that you take care of such things. Passwords. Now, most of the issues arise because we use the same password. I'm not even talking about whether the passwords are, weak or strong. Of course, they have to be. But I'm talking about using the same password across all the platforms. So which means if I know your Gmail password, it's quite likely that, the same thing can work on Facebook, it can work on Twitter, or it can work anywhere else also. Or even if not, I'm able to at least, do a forgot password and have it onto your email ID and then reset it. And that's the reason it's extremely important. We use different passwords for different applications, and it's like kind of tad easy if you ask me. Uh, yes, I know you would be surprised at how different passwords for different applications, and you say it's that easy. Yes, it is. So, firstly, instead of the password, use a passphrase. What's a password? Computer becomes a password. It's just one word. Use a passphrase. My computer is slow. That's a passphrase. Okay. So, firstly, use passphrases. Now my computer is slow is like simple, right? It can be hacked easily also. Use something in your own mother tongue. If Hindi is your mother tongue, you can just write, "Mujhe palak paneer pasand hai." Palak paneer pasand hai becomes that, and then you use a hashtag, and उसके बाद डाल दो Gmail. So palak paneer pasand hai hashtag Gmail becomes my password for Gmail. Palak paneer pasand hai hashtag FB becomes for Facebook, and so on. Of course, you need to make palak में P capital and then at the rate, add some number, something like that. So it becomes easy. So now palak paneer pasand hai. By the way, I don't like that much. Palak paneer pasand hai, it becomes just the first part, and that is easy to remember. Uske baad only you have to remember, oh, it's for my bank. So what it could be? Hashtag DOB, Bank of Baroda, or hashtag ICICI. So that makes it easy for you to remember, and you also have a complicated password, a very strong password. Two-factor authentication is extremely important, because even if I get this strong password of yours, the fancy in your mother tongue and everything, I can still get into it. Yes, that is exactly what malwares like spywares do. They can record whatever you're doing. There are key loggers which can log all your keystrokes. So, but one thing what they can't do is the two-factor authentication. That's also possible, but then now we are getting like too much in the hacker mode. I don't want to get into that. Let's just understand that the two-factor. So even if I know your Gmail password, it will ask you for one more code which should come on your mobile via an SMS or through a flash message, something like that. So two-factor authentication for every application that you use, whether it's Facebook, whether it's your Gmail, whether it's, even if it's your company-related something, please ensure that is there. So here, I think I spoke over too many things, which I felt were relevant. So what I would want to do is now, Bipin, if I can have you back, and I understand there are a lot many questions, and should we take up some questions, please?
Well. I must say that was really, really interesting, Ritesh. I have so many questions personally I want to ask you, but I'm sure many others also have questions they want to ask you. But I just want to start the Q&A, because everybody's watching us live on Facebook, Instagram, of course, on this portal. So let's start with this portal. You mentioned about Zoom, and there was this big news. I think the goof up that the CEO of Zoom did was the big problem that everybody understood, that he did say out in the public that, yes, we are getting into the account details of people. So good that you cleared this in the air, that Zoom is safe. We can use it. It's been existing for the last 8 years. It's only now that majority of Indians have come across this. So thank you for clearing this air for a lot of people. But also, we're talking about WhatsApp being encrypted completely. What's your take on this? Is WhatsApp completely safe?
So let's understand one thing. WhatsApp, what do you mean by end-to-end encryption? So let's say I have typed a particular text, okay? When it is in transit, means when it goes from my device to your device, for that particular period of time, it's encrypted. When it is on my device, it stays there. When it is on your device, it stays there. Have you seen how you get those notifications? You have notification managers also. So, which means they are able to read, right? If you install any notification app, they just like nicely categorize all notifications. These are your chat notifications. These are your SMS related notifications. So which means any app can actually read your text messages. So, so it's very important if you're going to have some kind of cheesy talk to somebody, ensure that you delete it immediately.
I like how that it's coming across. I'm sure many of them are wondering about it, and I'm just thinking of it all over again. But luckily, we've matured out of the school days. We're not 15, 17 anymore. So I'm sure it's not happening any more of those things. I have a question coming in from Rahi. She's asking, what are the security measures we should take while making digital payments? I'm sure Rahi is putting this question out, but it's a question that 80% of people have in their mind while doing digital payment. So your answer for that.
Okay, so when you're making the digital payment, just make sure, like your when the app is there, your app also should be like really secured. So when I was talking about two-factor authentication, let me also add that there are things available. I mean, there is an app available, or even your phone can enable that two-factor authentication for you. So that means the double security as such. The moment you unlock your phone, and then again to open up a digital app or a digital wallet, or even you're saying, like, let's say WhatsApp also, you again need to, like, let's say, put up a fingerprint or enter a code. So firstly, do that. That is very important. Secondly, please keep one thing in mind: maximum frauds are happening when you're expecting to receive money, but you're entering the UPI pin. In order to receive the money, you don't have to enter a UPI pin. You enter the UPI pin only when you send it. So that is something you need to take care of, or rather, I would say, remember that. Lastly, don't have too many apps. Be comfortable with one app because you know how it really works. Just because you're getting a 20 rupee cashback offer from now some fourth app doesn't mean that, you switch to that app. And even if you have to, please learn it well, that when just do a drill with somebody. Okay, like, let me send you 1 rupee and now you send me 1 rupee. Just see how it works so that you don't get confused, because it's a new app now altogether. So you shouldn't just get confused and lose your money. So these are the things, they're small things, but you just need to be very, very careful. Even in your contacts, when you have saved a particular person, one digit going from here to there, and you might just end up paying somebody else. So, and even in terms of QR codes also, like, there used to be a time, I remember, there's already a QR code and somebody would mischievously put another QR code. And the person, the shopkeeper wouldn't know also. So, he would say, okay, can I just scan and pay? And the shopkeeper would say, yeah, go ahead. And he would scan and he'd say, okay, look, I paid, I'm going by. And he would go. The money has actually gone to somebody else who pasted the QR thing.
So Ritesh, I don't want to ask you which is your favorite UPI app, but I will obviously ask you another question relating the same thing you mentioned right now. When you say, people shifting from one app to another app, and that's the new digital India we are seeing right now, and that 5 rupees cash back in a country like India matters like a big thing. So I know how people shift from, X, Y, Z. I don't want to name this app on this open platform, but of course they move from X to Y to Z because the initial plan that they give is really catchy, 100 rupees cash back or 200 rupees cash back. So what is your suggestion to people who shift apps based on the profit they're getting from those apps?
So I would say maximum of the clients, like, I have got, or my friends in my community have got, these are the people who are the educated ones. You would expect these frauds happening with drivers and watchmen and, people who don't understand technology and all. I think they're much smarter. It's maximum happening with the educated. Why? Because I think somewhere, we educated lot, are we overconfident about certain things? Okay, it cannot happen to me. So there you are wrong. Most of the clients, I would say 99% of the clients are happening with the educated lot. So just for the 5 rupee or the 10 rupee, I don't think so. It makes sense. More the apps, more the people knowing about your devices. Because all apps need access to, let's say, maybe your gallery, your contacts, your storage or whatever. Now, from one company already has it. Now, the second company also has a third company. We don't know where the mole is or who has that kind of inclination to do some sort of kira with you. Why take chances? And we are anyway talking about lesser and lesser number of apps. So why are we going against it now?
Absolutely. I like how you put this across, that, you know what, it's the ones who are educated, they are the ones in the trap most often than the ones who are actually not that highly educated. And it's a true fact. You just gave it to us right now. My next question is coming from someone called Raj. He's asking, is the data on our phone, the content in the gallery, etc., secure?
No,
It's not. Wow, you're
it's
just
not.
scaring me right now.
For the only reason, I mean, when you install an app, you're just saying that okay, the app says I need permission to your gallery, and of course, like if you go to use Facebook or Instagram or whatever, it has access to your gallery. You're backing it up all the time onto the servers. So obviously, as I told you, if somebody wants to like really misuse it, so for example, let's say if I come across with an app and I give it to my team members that look, hey, 20 of you need to install it. I'm the owner and I have taken access to the gallery, so I know what all I have. And that's the reason. Why do you think sextortion is such on the rise? Because a lot of our intimate moments are stored is stored in the gallery. So please understand that nothing stays in that one dumb device, which you call it as a smartphone. It's all over.
It's everywhere. So everybody who's watching there, if you have that anything that you're hiding in that phone, you think it's your private thing, I don't think so. I think it's out there. Everybody has got the details for it. So make sure you delete them completely, or make sure you never record that to be on the safer side. I have one more question, because we're talking about the gallery as well, Ritesh. People have video calls on different platforms. WhatsApp, let's start from WhatsApp. How safe is WhatsApp video calls?
I think, as long as, we are talking sensible things, we are displaying sensible things, as long as, I'm not having like, it's a virtual medium, it's a cyberspace, anything can happen. Okay. And all the past hacks and breaches have shown that how bad it can go, whether it is like a Sony hack or, whether it was the Ashley Madison hack. Okay. It can like really go crazy. So here is where you really need to have that kind of sense that any sensitive thing, I don't have it on my phone. Like it could be a debit card, credit card, it could be obscene things. So when even I'm making a WhatsApp call, now what I'm using it for, if it is just a casual conversation, that's for any sort of training, whatever you and I are doing is absolutely fine. Why is this doing anything else on it?
So nothing is actually safe. It's just that we come across everything is safe. Before I kind of ask you next question, because it's going to deal about the questions regarding the debit and credit card, it also gives me a little insight about the place Jamtara and this bunch of youth that came across fooling a lot of Indians with fake calls and made so much money. There's also a series out on Netflix about the same thing. And that's why I'm coming to this question right now. How to protect, or what precautions should one take while using debit card or credit card?
So we'll break it into two parts. The Jamtara thing, any such call coming, telling you that, look, your points are expiring, whether they call you, whether they send you a message or you get an email or whatever it is, just completely ignore it. Call up the bank call center. You call it, you hang up and you got to call up the call center and discuss what is the issue as such. So no talking to anyone as far as these things are concerned. Most of the times I've seen people get defrauded. It was the only reason because they are like in a hurry or they are overstressed and all. Hold on, just hang on for that time. If it's blocked, how does it matter? It's just blocked. Just wait for 2 hours more. When you're silent, when you're just relaxed, go back and call up the call center. Now, the second part of the question, how do we take care of the credit and debit card? We always have this misconception that, okay, even if somebody has my CVV, what can he do? The OTP comes to me. No, please understand that in many foreign countries, on many international websites, e-commerce websites, they don't ask for the OTP.
Right.
It's just now that they have started doing. You remember Netflix also earlier, how it used to happen? It's just now that it sees if its IP is from India, then they redirect it to your bank. Otherwise, what? Earlier, so I could use, so that was the time a lot of frauds were happening. So please understand this one thing, that as far as your credit or debit cards are concerned, they can be misused, because firstly, in the dark web itself, okay, many Indian banks debit and credit cards are already out over there, which means they have a 16-digit number, expiry date, our names, and the CVV. Okay, so what do you need to do now? You just can't ask your bank right in this particular position, in this particular environment right now, to block the card and send them a new one. But what you can do is please disable the international transactions, or just keep it to the minimum. Like, for example, my certain amount of money goes to Google, but I know it doesn't go beyond 1,000 rupees. So what I have done is I have just, kept the limit of 2,000 for an international transaction. So even if a fraudster wants to attempt and do something, the maximum he can take is 2,000 rupees. So this is what we really need to do. Even as far as your domestic transactions are concerned, because the banks, by and large, they give you like a limit of at least 3 lakhs nowadays. Okay. But you don't need that much kind of thing. So what you need to do over there, even your domestic transactions, there are all the banks provide you lot many filters or conditions, I would say, criteria that what you want to do. So you can always select, okay, in a day, not more than 5,000 or 10,000, or or please reduce my limit. It's 3 lakhs, fine, thank you so much. But I would want to keep it only to 25,000 rupees. When I want to shop something more than that, I will just go enhance my limit. So, controlling your limits is something very important, and disable the international ones if you're not using it at all.
I'm so glad you're mentioning this point of having a limit, especially while you're traveling international, because it's come across in my scenario as well, where you don't get to know how much you're spending in different country based on the currency difference you have, and happen to spend so much money. It's only when you come back to India and realize, oh my God, I had planned of 1 lakh rupees. I've spent about 1.5 lakh rupees. So glad you mentioned the point. I'm just gonna go back to one more question that is coming in my mind right now about the safety in the calls and the apps and so many things. So do you agree that, before 2001, while we having phones, were not smartphones, the phones, and having simple life was much safer life than current scenario?
Well, I wouldn't say that, because you know what, it's made things so convenient. Just imagine today in this lockdown, if you had that kind of phone, what you would have been doing over here. Of course, a great thing you would have been doing would be like reading books, which we don't. But then still, there are people who read on the internet and all. So it's all about how. Oh yeah, then in that case, you should see over here also, Mithun.
As well.
Yes. So it's all about how smartly I'm using my device. So you just please understand. You call this as a bank in your pocket, but when you go to the bank with so much of cash, don't you go with so much of precautions and with you're like literally protected because you got so much of money with you. It's the same thing you really need to do with this, because if this is lost, a lot of things can come out and it can be misused also. It's all about how smartly, more than smartly, wisely, and you're using this. And then awareness is very important. So you really need kind of a manual now, a manual of a digital wellness before I hand over things to you. It's as good as let's say, if today you wanted to introduce somebody to net banking, somebody who's older, like a father or some uncle, who knows nothing about it, wouldn't you be training him? Look, you don't give the password out over there. You need to understand what is phishing and all that. The same thing needs to be done when we are buying any device or we are downloading an app or doing anything with technology.
In the last 30 minutes, I'm sure that we're getting comments that most of the people are deleting apps on their phone already now. The things they know about it. And I'll be honest to you, Ritesh, I have a limited apps in my phone as well. Even to do with the UPI or banking. I have very limited apps because it's not because I want to keep so many apps, because I chose not. And I think the first thing you should do is that you choose not to have too many things that creates a mess, and you start becoming safer by your own means before somebody else keeps you safe. I'm going to get into some digital questions, social media questions, because a lot of cybersecurity crime comes in picture in social media, where there's people talking about against somebody and for somebody. How do you monitor these things on social media? Ritesh, could you just give us a little insight about it?
Well, I don't monitor. So I think social media is all about free speech. So it could be the agencies that could be monitoring, but definitely not me. And I want to come back to your apps, because you said you have limited apps, and many people might be who are deleting the app. You also need to understand one thing. Go back to your phone, go to the settings, and go to the permissions over there, and please revoke the permissions. Like, for example, an app, a food delivery app might not need, it doesn't require permission to your gallery, right? I mean, when you order a food, you don't want to show it that you are eating the food. Okay. So please disable that. Please revoke that particular permission. So go to your app settings, and you will you will be like shocked to know that so many of your apps are having like permissions to the cameras, to the microphones. Please revoke it. If you have a question, you might want to say that, okay, look, but then those apps might not function. No, just try it out. It will function. It's not that it's not going to function. It will function. And if it refuses to function, uninstall it. We got too many options nowadays.
I totally agree. So good you mentioned about it. So go back to those apps, look into settings. There is a way of revoking your settings, making sure that you are limited, giving the app limited access to your phone. And that is one step of being saving your memory to yourself and not sharing to the world out there. I'm sure today many of the people must be like worrying and thinking of the actions they have done by the means of calls and videos and pictures and I don't know what more or what not. Any message, Ritesh, that you want to give to people going ahead in future, what they should keep in mind in terms of the video calls or calls by the means of internet?
You answered it. You said keep in mind. And that's exactly what they need to do. So keep the passwords in mind. Keep everything in mind. Don't put everything on your phone. Don't put your passwords on the phone. Just keep it in your mind. It's easy to remember. Palak paneer pasand hai, hashtag whatever. Don't now put that also on the phone. Don't put your credit card and everything. Don't store your entire dunya on your phone. Okay, so your brains have anyway started shrinking post the digital era. So don't shrink it further. Give it some exercise, please. I would say get back to pen, paper, start memorizing things. Something like, things like those are extremely, extremely important. So we need to bring back our photographic memory in our brains.
I love the way you just put across this thought that regain the memory that you used to have before, while you didn't need a map to take you to a place, or you didn't need an app to buy things for you. You always made sure you put it on your piece of paper, and that's how the life has been going around. So I think the old school is still the best school to be in, where you can be safe, and exactly what Ritesh has given to us. Ritesh, one quick question to all the youth who's watching us right now. There was a latest big a spam about the house party app that went out loud, and most of the people who are watching our youth live on Facebook and Instagram, of course, on the portal, want to know about how safe is it? Can they go back and reinstall the house party app, or it's a big no-no? What do you think?
It's bindas. Just go ahead, install it. But don't do those things, like, okay, like let's say 4 friends coming together, 8 friends coming together, and come on, let's do something that's again something very obscene or cheesy. Don't do that. You never know what can happen. Some people out of excitement want to take a screenshot, or, there are like spywares, malwares on your phones also, which keep taking screenshots of your phone. Just imagine if it lands up in some wrong hands. So just don't experiment all this. I know it's virtual world, it's a cyber space, but still it's not safe right now.
So out there, if you have to do anything, do it in limited space. Don't jump the space, and that's where the problems come in. And you also mentioned there are 2 parallel worlds that we are right now on. One is the world we are in, and the other was the virtual world. So make sure you are equally balanced. equally know where you stand, where you put your foot in, and we don't want to put your foot in. Just make sure you are in the reality of life and being there. That's the best way out. Thank you so much, Ritesh Bhatia, for joining us today. I am sure all our viewers today have made sure that they will buy a notebook or a notepad tomorrow, buy a pen tomorrow, start writing, start memorizing things that they have to, because that's the way you can remember things. And a big no-no to keeping a screenshot of your PAN card number or database, PIN number, whatever. Throw all that out of your phone. This is the only phone you have. Make sure it's all stored here. Thank you for joining us here at the Wellness 360 at home. And I'm sure I have so many other questions I want to ask you, but time is a concern here. So thank you for joining us here, Ritesh. It was lovely having you. I'm hoping you are safe at home. I'm hoping you are happy and positive at home. And I'm sure you have so many books that is placed behind you, and you are making the most of these books these days.
Well, it belongs to my son. He's making the most of it. In fact, I think he's writing one now.
Oh, wow. That's very, very good news. I hope it's about cybersecurity and keeping less apps.
No. The mother is in the same field. The father also in the same. He prefers to go somewhere else.
That's the right way said. You can always ask anybody to choose the right path, and then they have their own right to say that. Another very good message that he just gave right now, that everyone there, if they matured, they have their own path to walk towards. Thank you again for giving us a beautiful insight on wellness and where it actually starts from. It starts from the safety and security of what you earn and how you keep them, because that's what wellness means here. And that's exactly what we're doing. Thank you so much, Ritesh Bhatia, one more time for joining us. It was lovely having you with us here at Wellness 360 at home.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Mr. Ritesh Bhatia giving us an insight about how you should take care of everything that you do while doing digital transactions, while using your credit card, debit card, or by storing pictures, video calls, messages, these numerous apps. Make sure you filter it, make sure you reduce it, make sure keep your phone limited to apps, and that's the best way to be safe. I know you want all those apps, but trust me, there was a time you didn't need all these apps. So cut it down, make the most of it, go to settings, revoke settings where you do not give the access to the app to make sure they have all the rights to get into your phone, and stop it right there. At Wellness 360 at home, brought to you by ICICI Lombard, our message is to make sure you are at perfect in every aspect. And I'm sure today again you learned how you can be perfect, just to start with the wellness. Thank you so much again for joining us. My name is Mithun Upadhyay. I will see you in the next episode. Meanwhile, what you have to do is make sure you are happy, make sure you're positive, and make sure you are having a great time with family and being well all the time. Thank you again.